Hello, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and NPD by somebody that has both. God, it feels like a long time since I've said that, because it is a long time since I've said that. I won't leave you alone that long again, okay? Sorry, I kind of abandoned you. Christmas happened, and I promise I did have a tree behind me where the guitar is. That was there for like a whole month, and I never did a video while it was there. I was going to do like loads. I even had a Christmas t-shirt that I was going to, and I just didn't. That's a BPD thing. T-shirt idea. Somebody write that down. Anyway, we're going to do some NPD stuff because I am so firmly in an NPD place at the moment. It's kind of terrifying. This episode comes with a disclaimer. If you are somebody who can be triggered by things that you see or hear in YouTube videos, don't watch the rest of this video. I don't know necessarily right now as I sit here what I'm going to say that's going to upset you, but it's highly likely that something I'm going to say might upset some people out there. So consider yourself warned. Also, if you like to then continue to watch these videos that have warned you and then email people or comment expecting some kind of apology, also, that's never going to come. So I don't know what to tell you, right? Because that's essentially what I'm going to talk about today. The fact that I don't care, right? If you're upset by something I've said or done, that's a you problem, right? It's not a me problem. See, there's some dark shit going off in here, right? Some seriously dark stuff. And it's difficult to talk about because so many people are terrified of it. And I don't mean us, right? I'm talking to the other narcissists out there. I don't mean us. We know, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? The really dark shit. The really fucked up stuff that's going off in your head right now. It's going off in my head right now. We're all doing it. Let me give you an example. I've spent the last couple of days upset at people who don't wear masks. Or as I've been referring to them internally, cattle. Are they people that I should give a flying fuck about? Should I honestly give a shit? Because I don't really. Do you? Inferior little shits just scuttling around, making everything worse because they know better. They're so fucking stupid, they don't even know how fucking stupid they are. And the rest of us, you and me, have to share a fucking planet with them. It's just swimming around up there, right? It's just churning over all the time. And this spills out sometimes into fantasies of violence, fantasies of more extreme confrontations with people. Because what the fuck do they matter, right? Do you think I would lose one blink of sleep if I did harm to some fucking mouth breather out there? I don't give a shit. The truth is I do. I mean, me personally, I'm weighed down by this BPD. And I know that I would never hurt anybody intentionally. But the NPD side of me doesn't give a fuck. I don't care. And that's just that kind of thought, right? That's not like I'm a violent person. I don't go out looking for fights and trying to hurt people. I'm just like pissed off at the world because I've got to share it with these fucking pieces of shit that are beneath me. Do you feel like that? Do you have these thoughts going through your head? They're going through my head. All these worthless little dweebs out there. And do you know what else really pisses me off? Is no one gives a fuck about us, right? Don't you realize we're like the most hated group of all people with mental health problems? No one's validating us. No one gives a fuck. No one cares. No one likes us. No one wants to be around us. We're dangerous, right? And then you start to revel in that because you know we are. You know that the reason that they're not all totally under our control is because we've chosen not to do that yet. Some of them are, but they're all there just for us. To do what we want, to be controlled by us. All of them. It's all swimming around up there, isn't it? All the time. And you know it's wrong. You know it's not right, that you're not supposed to think that we're not really better than anyone else. We're not really in charge of everything. We're not really superior to anyone. And then you get the conflict. But we are, though. But it feels good. It feels powerful and energizing and all of this stuff. And I'm only scratching the surface, aren't I? I'm not getting close to some of the dark stuff that you've thought of, that I think about. That stuff that is within all of us. And it's not like an active hate. It's more a disdain. It's more a disgust with the rest of society, right? We don't actively hate them. We just think little of them. All swimming around. All the time. I'm not getting close, am I? I'm not coming close to the really upsetting stuff. The stuff that we know, if we said it out loud, some people would just start crying. You see, I've been beginning to let some of this stuff out, to talk about in an appropriate setting. Kind of like this, but also in therapy. And you get told, come on, what can't you share? And you think, you don't fucking know the half of it. You can't imagine what's in there. And it's horrible and upsetting and distressing and terrifying to know that it exists, to know that it's in there, to know that we hold it down. We hold it back. We don't act on it ever. And it's this constant battle to not do it. And sometimes we fail and we do something that we shouldn't do. See, now I'm saying that I'm terrified about sharing what I've shared. Genuinely. Not because it's difficult for me to share it, really, but because of the reaction. Because what are you going to say? What are you going to think when you start to hear some of the dark stuff? Does it make me a scary person? Does it make me unlikable, unlovable, and frightening? Because I don't want to be frightening, but at the same time, yeah, I do. What do you do with that? And the other narcissists out there, you know what I'm talking about. You know the flashes of things inside that come with that disdain, with that disgust for the rest of the world. I don't feel like I'm alone in this. I think this is the stuff that scares us the most, right? If it's in me, what if I did it? What if I broke down and acted on some of this? How close have I been to doing that on different occasions throughout my life? And I fear that sometimes that there may have been in the past incidents that were close to showing this hatred. I feel like I'm just talking about an act of violence. I'm absolutely not. And how vulnerable it all is. How it's a suit of armor. It's a wall in front of us. It's that barking loudly to make ourselves seem big. That thought. The truth is, we aren't bad people and we couldn't readily do harm. No more than anybody else. It's in there. It's part of us. But we're also appropriately afraid of it, right? Not being afraid of it, that pushes you way up into psychopathy and that kind of thing, doesn't it? They're the ones with the problem of not, of almost enjoying it sometimes and not caring. And I think just in the narcissism without the psychopathy, we have I don't know, there's something holding us back, right? We don't want to do harm. We don't want to ever hurt anybody. We don't want to ever upset anybody. And we do it all in the face of being hurt and bombarded ourselves. People are allowed to hate us. Nobody wants to validate us because they don't like what we think. If we thought something else, maybe they would, but we don't. They don't. Nobody wants to go through life pretending that we're better than them just to stop us from facing the harsh reality that we aren't, right? We don't get that kind of help. So we just have to deal with it and think these things and play these scenes through in our mind that play out. And then feel horrific about it later and realize how wrong we are and how misguided we are and how much we shouldn't think like that. And it is vulnerable. We're so afraid for ourselves. We're so scared of so much stuff. And so we wrap ourselves up in this, I don't care. I hate you. You're lower than me anyway. Who cares about you? Because if we don't care about people, then it doesn't matter what they think of us. It doesn't matter what we appear like to them. Because we don't like how we appear anyway. We're not comfortable in ourselves. There are problems and things I feel are failures in myself that I want to hide away from the world. And so I put on this suit of narcissistic, non-caring armor that has disdain for everybody, that looks down on everybody. Because if I look down on them, then it doesn't matter that I have these things I perceive to be failings because I'm still above everybody else. It's so vulnerable. And that's where the dark thoughts are coming from, right? That's where it all starts. Inner fear, inner feelings of failure, that inner defense, that frustration through not being able to affect the world in the way we want to affect it, and the rage that comes with wanting to lash out after that. I can't make everybody wear a mask. I can't do anything about that. I'm frustrated. I'm angry, and I'm frustrated and angry with being in lockdown and having all of the things that have been missing from my life. And all that rage just wants to put up this suit of armor and attack somebody else and be angry at somebody else because that's easier than being angry at me. It's easier to deal with. There's nothing I have to do as a result of it. It's somebody else's fault. Look what they've made me do. And so these dark thoughts swim around and get darker and darker sometimes. But the only thing that truly quietens them are times when I'm fixing myself. when I'm feeling better about myself, when I have less things I perceive to be failures, then the dark thoughts quieten down and go away. To use an overused term, these are difficult times. And no matter how good I feel about myself, there's still this overhanging dark cloud of shit that is generating just by being a human on planet Earth right now. We're all under the same cloud. And that just makes things worse anyway. This is what I'm talking about when I say I can't really take much more of this. That this is what it's doing to me. And so dealing with that and dealing with my own problems makes things tough. I'm getting a lot out in this. I hope this is of some use to some of you. I don't know. I feel like I've trailed off the point and should probably come to an end. The dark thoughts are there, and I hate them. And I'm sure if you have the dark thoughts, you hate them too. And I do think the way to make them go away is to feel better about ourselves. I understand it's not that easy, right? You can't, just go and do that now. You go feel better about yourself, will you? Done? Maybe just knowing the first step or the direction to take helps. Every journey starts with a single step. Oh, I said it. Sorry. Anyway, I hope I didn't upset too many people. The truth is, I don't really want to upset anybody, but this stuff's in my head and I don't know what to do with it. And I know it's bad and I know it's upsetting, and I'm scared of the backlash of sharing even the tiniest little scoop with you. But I have to be honest, and I have to share it, and I have to tell you what it's like. Because otherwise, what's the point in doing this, right? I'm not an expert in the field. What I have to share is what's in my head. And so far that seems to help. So I guess we just put it out there and see what happens and hope people understand. I'll catch you all later. I don't say that, do I? I'll see you later. Bye.